Hey, welcome to the grand finals of AVG. We have On the Spot versus I'm Not Trying. So far the drafts have been pretty interesting. So we have Xin Zhao, Brand Silas on the side of OTS, and Lulu Olaf Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw Lulu has been just has been a high synergy bot lane that's been constantly been played as of recently. So really good draft on the side of INT with Olaf, a really strong jungler that can just face tank everything in the middle of a fight. And on the side of OTS, they have really strong picks. Brand is able to just shred down so much and be able to do damage to the backline without necessarily being there. And we also have Silas, which has been historically well recently, and Xin Zhao, which has been a complete menace within the jungle. Yes, now we see INT picking up a set, which is I really like the pick. Personally, you can just throw Xin Zhao back into the enemy team as soon as you see him engage onto your team. I really do like that pick. Admittedly, you do have quite a small window of for Set to actually be able to do that because if Xin Zhao gets his R off in time, it may be a little too late for Set to be able to do that effectively. So, really curious to see how INT's top laner, I believe. I'm assuming it's a top lane set. Celibate Squirrel makes good use out of that. We do see OTS picking Darius in response to the set pick. And Ezreal. Ezreal, really safe. Really safe ADC pick. Just able to scale into the late game. Uh, just without with his Sunder and be tanky and be able to dish out damage from pretty safe distance. Um, And now we're just going to see what INT's last pick. I believe it'll be their mid laner, or actually could be their top laner. In the chance that it is a mid lane set, what their last pick is going to be. Okay, it's a Malzahar. Okay, so yeah, so we're gonna see a mid lane Malzahar and top lane set. I'm not. I can check real quick in regards to the stats when it comes to the Darius v Set matchup. I believe it is. It's about even slightly favoring Set. However, it's pretty negligible difference. So yeah, it's more or less going to be an even matchup when it comes to top lane. The Malzahar pick I feel like is a pretty good one, just being able to lock down those champions. So the rest of his team can get really good follow up. Uh, just be able to dish out damage. Also, the silence from the Malzahar in the middle of the fight can really help protect the enemy team from just jumping in on them and just prevent them from a lot of the utility that they would have otherwise. Okay. Uh, it really is. I'm partial for it. Okay. So yeah, we will be pausing for the next 3 minutes as the teams uh, officially lock in their champions. And yeah.
See it all come crashing down from far above. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding. Only one will take it all. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we make the final call? We are the ones to ignite the darkest skies. The champions of the world that we defy. A soul ray of the few who rise up high, and we all fight at the last light.
Say pause? I thought he said undeafen. Alright, welcome everybody. This is the finals, best of 3, but I think only 2 games are played. I'm not actually sure. But ask people in the chat, they'll probably direct you towards the right answer. But we have INT versus OTS.
Yeah, so looking at the two team comps coming into the game, do you believe one team can't necessarily necessarily, I guess, favored to win this just by looking at the champions?
Well, champion-wise, you know, comp-wise, I think INT has a really solid draft. When it comes down to the side of OTS, I really don't think they have any real glue, right? It just feels like a bunch of champions put together. But sometimes, you know, if you can get these champions to work, like the Darius, the Xin Zhao, the Brand, right? If these champions can have impact, it's a really big impact. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's basically my take on draft. I think INT wins and are definitely the crowd favorite. But overall, what an interesting match we will get to.
Yeah, we already see Amphipod ganking the mid lane, jumping on him, trying to flash Q, but he misses the auto. But he will still get the knockup. Will this result in the first blood? Actually, Yoshishi dies instead, taking the tower shot, giving first blood all the way right back to INT.
You know what's so crazy about that? Oh, and then he has to TP back. Dang. Like, if Xin Zhao gets that second auto, you think
They would've killed.
Intensify gets first blooded?
Probably. He messed up. He flashed Q'd and hit the minion instead. Yeah, but in this match, when it comes to Xin Zhao via Olaf, Olaf wins by contesting Xin Zhao on neutrals and counter ganking. So Xin Zhao needs to out tempo. So it was the right move for him to gank early there on the level 2, but he just mechanically messed it up, which gave away first blood. Yeah, we see him trying to gank mid again. His shield is still up, and then yeah, Mo is a tool coming in to counter it, but I don't think it's
No flash.
time.
That's the knockup, but it's not gonna work.
It ends up going 1-for-1, maybe. Oh, 2-for-1. Definitely in favor of INT already. Off to a great start. That's exactly what Olaf needs to do. He needs to just be able to contest. Whoever made the call, whether that be him or Intensify, the team captain, just completely read the enemy team and just was able to match the follow-up Xin Zhao gank in mid lane and just completely shut it down to two kills for 1. Definitely.
Yeah. Xin Zhao level 2 ganking mid, it messed up, but they tried to force a second regank, right? They wanted to punish the Malzahar's early laning, they wanted to punish his flash before he gets to that, you know, I just have to press you on the wave and then I'm safe, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is, right, when they do stuff like that, they allow for counter counter play, right?
Mhm.
It wasn't really thought out that well
Yeah.
because Olaf being there as a really nice trade happens mid lane.
Yeah. It all happened around approximately like what, 3 minutes 20, 3:30, and I feel like around that time they should have known that Olaf would be in the area, considering 3:15, 3:20 is approximately when when junglers end up in the river, because that's when Scuttle spawns. So knowing that, he should have not been pushed. Amphi probably shouldn't have been pushing for a repeat gank, knowing that Olaf could follow up on it instantaneously because he was going to be in the area. Considering Olaf
Yeah.
didn't necessarily show on the map at that point. So
And
yeah, a little bit of a misplay.
I do have a question for you. Both plays, do they go well if Xin Zhao had Halo Blades?
Zinza, what is Zinza running? He is running. Actually, yeah, 100%. The first play would have definitely gone to them.
Whoa,
Oh,
that was an aggressive flash by Bio. It really didn't get them anything. I bet they were expecting more to happen as Xin
we see
Zhao is
gank in the
here for
top lane as Zinzao jumps in. We see TP coming in from Intensify. Will they be able to secure a kill in response to Celtic Squad dying? But I do not believe they will. Will end up just being a 1-for-none on the side of OTS. Yeah, I feel like if he took Halo Blades, he would have definitely won. I feel like knowing that he needed to push to out tempo, he should have taken Halo Blades over Conquer. Conquer, you as Zinza, you usually want to be farming up a little bit more, getting strong, pushing for like the mid game when Zinza can
Yeah.
take those extended fights in like maybe whether that be the enemy jungle, which you're not going to be wanting to do against Olaf in the early game. So I feel like taking Conquer was really counterproductive and counterintuitive for what he wanted to do. He would have definitely gotten the first kill, like even though he missed the auto attack on on it, he would have still been able to get an auto in, which would have secured him the kill. So yeah, I feel like a little bit of a misplay when it comes to runes on the side of Amphi. And
Yeah.
then when it comes to the second play, if he considering I think he backed, well he died, but no, actually he didn't die the first time. But I believe he backed right after and just went for a repeat gank. He would have had a good amount of gold off of that kill. So yeah, probably the second would have been maybe a 2-for-none or like a 1-for-none on the side of OTS if he just went Halo Blades.
Yeah, and even then, just getting that knockup means that, you know, Intensify isn't able to back up. So I think that, you know, him kiting towards the Olaf, getting as much damage as he did, was basically what guaranteed Olaf to have this big snowballing power as he picks up this Drake. And Xin Zhao is spotted on this ward.
We do see
Go-Go Fate.
Zinzao ganking in the bot lane. Oh, Go-Go Fate getting absolutely blown up by Brand Ezreal, and it's just a cleanup crew time for Zinzao. At this point, Zinzao, with the lead that he has, really wants to be snowballing as hard as he can. He's not going to be wanting to farm that much. Admittedly, even because like he's already kind of opted for this playstyle, so he needs to just maintain that high tempo. So yeah, we should be expecting a lot more ganks, especially in probably top lane and mid. Bot lane is a decent to gank, I guess, considering they don't have any mobility on their champions. But if Kog'Maw and Lugo are positioned properly, they should be always in like a safe space in lane.
Yeah, so far I think wave management in the bot lane, I think they've been doing a pretty good job from both sides. I think that, you know, they've both just built up big waves and crashed under tower. But overall, I think INT is making more of it, specifically how they're able to get a Drake. And, you know, they obviously have had better backs, with Kog'Maw having his attack damage shoes, his Berserker's Greaves. That is what they're called, right? Yeah, it's Berserker's Greaves. But Ezreal's still having a pretty good back on his own. And Brand getting what he wants. There's a trade going on mid lane. Not really much to amount
It's not
to,
gonna,
but
it's not gonna really amount to anything at that time. Yeah, Yoshi kind of had to be able to just to take some poke. Oh, we are gonna see a fight right here as Zella tries to go for a counter jungle on.
if you're Olaf,
If you're Olaf, that's what you want to see. Actually, you want to see that aggression. You want to see them run into you, especially when he has a 2-0 lead. And also has a big item advantage on Darius. So I do not know why Darius would be up there at that time, considering how behind he is on items, and also they have no mid prio. So a little bit of a misplay on the side of him.
yeah,
but it doesn't
Bio
really
might be
amount
caught
to
here.
Bio is
Lugo
caught here,
doesn't
but
have
he's
R.
sidestepping. But I believe he still will die. Yeah, Carnage does pick up the kill, and a TP does
TP.
come in bot lane with a set. Will he be able to pick it up? He gets the E off on the Ezreal, but he gets exhausted down, just unable to move. That OP summoner spell just makes you unable to move at all, but he just R's into them. JT Ripper a little bit caught out at this point. The W, the Haymaker, going down to secure the kill onto JT Ripper. Just overextended at that point, needed to know when to back off. They got what they needed, and they just needed to run at that, but decided to get a little bit greedy and resulted in his death. A little
Yeah, when they
unfortunate.
both have flash there, and you know, like it kind of makes no sense to really aggress for more, especially when you know your top laner doesn't have TP and can't assist if something bad does happen, which is what we saw there. JT got caught, Ezreal to flash over the wall. That's just not what you want to do after making a pretty good play in the bot lane, but as we see, the counterplay in the top lane is Zelot getting these solo plates. He does get a good XP lead and gold lead from shoving in and crashing minions, but this is one of those situations where most of the kills are on the junglers right now, and we need to see how they impact the map because we can't let this game simply get to scaling, right?
Yeah. If it goes to scaling, then I believe that it will end up favoring. Actually, genuinely could go either way. It really depends on how the Kog'Maw scales specifically if it comes down to that. But honestly, I feel like the next 5 minutes really needs to be Mozatul exerting his early lead and snowballing out. He should be pushing into Xin Zhao's jungle when he has Prio. That's literally what he should be doing right now, but it seems that he is being a little bit time inefficient, just kind of sitting in the mid lane, even though Wave has been pushing in. So
Yeah.
it's not really gonna amount to anything. JT Ripper dropping the R on bot lane, but it won't really amount to anything as his R just starts bouncing between the minions, just kind of dissipating afterwards. Very unfortunate. Yeah, but overall, yeah, he really needs to extend out. If he lets us push to a scaling game, then it will end up favoring OTS when it comes to jungle matchups, because he does
I
have
just
that
feel like
conquer.
when it comes down to scaling, Intensify's team, sorry, I'm not trying, is a really, really easier job, you know, outputting DPS than it comes down to, you know, when you have this Xin Zhao that needs to find a really good form of engage, the right angles. If, you know, Ezreal has to get the right amount of poke in a fight, has to have good ultimates. Something's about to happen in this bomb side river.
Did you see a flash R from Malzahar jumping in, just securing that, sucking off that Xin Zhao to death? Unfortunate, just unfortunate at that point, and I believe that will just end up being the second dragon to favor OTS.
That was some extreme suckage.
Actually, sorry,
going on there.
INT. Extreme suckage, amazing. I believe
we still are in stream, so I can't go much further than that in description. But yeah, really well played by INT, just being able to secure their second dragon in the game. Yeah, pushing for the scale. When it comes to this game, Olaf admittedly isn't who you want to have the kills on, because if they're pushing for a scaling game, then all he really is going to be is kind of like a frontline tank. Not really gonna necessarily be the damage impact in this game. Just taking frontline and taking CC to heal out for the Kog'Maw. We do see that Xin Zhao is fighting the Intensify in the mid lane on Malzahar,
Olaf, though.
but Olaf's there to follow up, making sure that Intensify does live. He gets the silence off, poking him down.
the Malzahar burden damage just does so much over time. And it does have to result in Amphi running away, especially with that Olaf presence. Olaf is looking for a bot lane gank as they're both a little overextended. And Olaf jumping onto the Ezreal. We are seeing a fight simultaneously in the top lane. Haymaker goes down. Bio trying to chase down JT Ripper. Will he fall down? Maybe not. Amphi's... Oh, we do see the Amphi dropping the R on the Xin Zhao, jumping onto the Kog'Maw right afterwards after securing the kill. Both kills go to the side of OTS. A third kill side of OTS. That's a 3-for-none in their favor. That's exactly what they want to see at this point in the game.
Yeah. There was so much split fighting going on in that one particular, time frame that I'm even surprised that Darius didn't just straight up kill Set, right? Because there were so many, they were just split, right? It was really, really difficult for them to have a coherent, skirmish or even a team fight because it was technically 4 people on that bot side of the map. So it was very, very difficult, but in the end, OTS on,
You're seeing Jake in the
Aspire.
mid lane as the suck comes off from Silas, just turning back the suck to him. You suck my back, I suck yours. And a kill goes in the favor of the side of OTS. Well played by them. Just beating
Who sucks
Intensify.
better though?
Who sucks better though? I guess you have to ask them specifically. To see, I guess who. Let's just leave. Okay, back to addressing to that bot fight that was earlier. Yeah, they were extremely split, and Amphipod just made really good use of it, just popping both of their bot laners as they were completely separated off from their support that could have helped them, and then it just ended up going to Amphi, and then I believe it just they were able to pick up another kill as well. Same time, we just see him trying to jump onto Moe2. He's gonna get knocked up any second now. Oh, but the slow for Moe2's Qs just aren't able to prevent it. He has assistance though with Silas and Darius also in the area, while INT also has Malzahar hovering and potentially a set room. Darius does need to address the top lane, because if not, then his entire top wave is going to be crashed and he's going to lose a lot of XP. He is ahead in CS, but that XP disadvantage that could accumulate as a result is something that he cannot take lightly, especially when it's still relatively close in the game.
Yeah,
JT splitting bot side.
If that was a Halo Blade Xin Zhao, who knows? That
Who
would have been
knows?
a dead Olaf. Because here's the thing, right?
Mhm.
All of these fights have amounted to something, correct?
Correct.
Right now, it's a 3k gold lead on the side of On The Spot, right? However, actually, something's happening.
Actually, we're seeing a fight in the mid lane. Oh, and the E does not work off. Oh, and the suck does not actually help out, as it does CC himself at the same time, resulting in Xin Zhao to get an easy follow-up. Xin Zhao, Amphipod, just making really good use of maintaining tempo and pushing out leads. So well played on his half. Amphipod is hovering bot side to contest Moe2, who's shown on the control ward. Yeah, Amphipod playing this really well, just maintaining high tempo and showing himself when necessary. That presence keeping his bot lane safe as they were quite overextended. So if Moe2 ran there at the right time, then it actually would have just ended up being a double kill in their favor. However, Amphipod's presence does prevent that from happening, and also the control ward that they did drop in that brush prevents Moe2 from the options that he wants. Yeah, so overall really well played. Moe2 hasn't necessarily participated in too many kills since that early lead. He was 2-0-2 about like 8 minutes into the game, and since then hasn't really snowballed out that lead, which is exactly what OTS wants to see, because they're able to just push out leads so much harder at this point. Celibate Squirrel taking a fight with Zella in the top lane. Who will win? Zella trying to get his bleed stacks off, gets it off. Haymaker still up for Celibate Squirrel, drops the R onto him. The ground pound into a W, but it won't be enough. Intensify in the top lane, trying to cover up for him. However, it prevents him from getting the kill. Flash off from Zealot, flash off from Intensify, who it will get. I believe that will be a kill in the favor of Intensify. Oh, he's getting low. Zealot wants the
An
kill.
outplay!
A complete outplay, getting the bleed stacks off, securing the kill. No need to even R. Doesn't even have the drop down on the Noxian Demolish, but just ends up being a kill for Zealot. Well played.
Dang, and then that Ezra I think gave vision of Olaf, so they do know that he was here trying to get that. But the crazy thing is, right? I think if Darius does, again, I'm not sure why and if Malzahar even had the suck ability, but like if you're Zealot, if you flash the middle, which is the true damage of Darius's W on the Haymaker, like I feel like just one auto would be enough to kill Celebrate, and then you get that you get the refresh on your 5 stacks with your ultimate.
The Noxian, what's it called? I forgot. Noxian something.
I think it's Noxian Might or something.
Something
Who knows?
along those lines.
But basically, right, with that, you're maybe able to get that 2v2, but still, amazingly well played by Zealot, knowing the strengths and the basically knowing the limits of his champ, right? Really well played to get that kill onto Intensify.
Yeah, very well played. Just understanding what he could do with his champion, and ends up letting him snowball out a little bit harder. I believe at this point, when it comes to 1v1s in the top lane, it's very favored on the side of Darius. As long as he's able to, because at this point in the game, Set does not necessarily have enough items to be able to do that classic nuke W onto the Darius. So if he's just able to survive that, which with the items that he currently has is definitely going to be able to, he can just turn around, get those stacks on the bleed, and just drop the R, and there's nothing he could do about it.
Yeah, so
we do
right now
see a
we
fight
have
right
both
around.
teams setting up for this objective, and Silas is in the bot lane with the TP. But because of that, it seems that they're just going to give the objective. But here's actually a TP.
We could potentially see a steal from the side of Amphipod. Will he be able to get it? Actually, they do drop. They drop the control that they had over the pit and giving it over to OTS. OTS turning as it's a complete split fight. Celibate Squirrel completely mispositioned, and they're just turning it around, constantly taking advantage of the split that they have. Will they be able to get a kill right now? Mozatul falls down. Gogofi and Biostar are the only ones alive. Will they be able to pick up those kills as well? As they all... Amphipod going for the tower dive, but does not amount to anything as Polymorph comes down. Pesky little ability preventing him from jumping in further, but only Carnage
Zero's
running
red
down
buff.
Biostar has the red buff, has the 2-level advantage onto them, trying to secure the kills, but they are able to get away. Pushing out now the Rift Herald in the top side, punishing them so hard for the misposition in the split. Yoshishi coming back in the back line, picking up the kill on Lulu, exerting out the top lane pressure that they already have accumulated. They can maybe even push for an inhibitor here if INT plays it improperly. They are able to get one more charge off onto the tower in favor of OTS. Well played. Just constantly taking advantage of the split that they have.
Well, I mean, yes. I don't think the split eventually got them what they wanted, but in the end, that team fight was exactly how they wanted it to go. The way they played it, splitting up the fight, as well as they actually caught Olaf there. So he had to flash into his team, but at that time, he was burning. It was the Rings of Fire from this brand. Like I said, JT Ripper burning away at their health bars with his 3-stack passive. His ultimate was burning everybody alive to a crisp as their team just fell, right? Because Set tried to go in, but the rest of their team was just trying to, you know, unscorch their flames that were, you know, literally burning them, you know, into a crisp. So like I'm saying, right? It was just such a split fight. And OTS wants that split fight, right? Because front to back, you're never getting onto this Kog'Maw Lulu. Sure, you have some ways and some tools and some range, you know, some way, shape, or form, but it's very, very difficult when you give them the front to back team fight. But the problem is, with this amount of AoE, right? The Ezreal ultimate coming in, hitting multiple members, taking off important things like Malzahar passive, and then getting those big stuns, those big AoE burns from JT Ripper, it's actually so much damage. At some point, it's not going to matter. But right now, in these early team fights, in these skirmishes, it matters so much. As well as, you know, Zealot and Amphipod are actually hitting really important spells. Carnage is able to just dash in, go in unharmed, and use his E aggressively and just follow up. As Drake number 2 is going to be most likely given.
And overall, very, very well played on their side. But regardless, even if they're split or if they're grouped up, it's going to end up being favored for on the side of OTS. Because if they're grouped up, big Brandar can just come in and just mess them up. Xin Zhao can jump in, R them away, and completely mess them up. Like, I feel like regardless of how they position in these fights, it's going to end up being favored for them because they have not scaled yet. They want to be pushing for that front to back when they have the lead, but at this point in the game, when Brand is able to dish out so much damage in these like grouped up team fights, it's always gonna end up regardless of positioning, it's gonna end up favoring OTS every single time. At this point in the game, INT really just needs to scale into the late game. They really need that front line. They really need that Kog'Maw damage. And other than that, they really aren't going to be able to contest OTS in these fights. It's always just going to be favored for them.
Baron is up. There might be a play looking for on the side of I'm not trying. But I do want to point out this all comes back to exactly what you were saying earlier, right? The early game tempo. Olaf was 2-0 start, and right now he's 2-2-2. Xin Zhao was able to overcome that and, you know, actually set the pace of the game, actually do stuff, right? Make plays around the map. He was constantly, you know, keeping the tempo. And at this point, what is Olaf even doing, right? He's not
Olaf-
going to scale like the rest of his team.
Olaf really needed to continue doing what he did in that one mid lane gank, where he just matches it. But he just stopped matching Amphipod on these ganks. He just decided to play lax, which ended up letting Amphipod push out the leads for his team and just constantly snowball this game out of control, and that's exactly where the game is now. I don't believe Mo is a tool can necessarily compensate for it at this point because it's too far into the game. We're nearly 25 minutes into the game, and letting that window of opportunity just drop just ends up giving so much advantage for the side of OTS, and letting Amphipod just push out those leads in his lane. So yeah, overall, a little bit of a misplay when it comes to the tempo that should have been exerted on the side of INT.
Yeah, but not to say that there isn't any that this isn't close, right? Sure, there's a big, huge gold lead at the moment, 9K, but gold falling into the right members, whether it be the Malzahar or the Kog'Maw, can absolutely crack this game right open. Where right now it's looking like a stomp, but it could be really, really close, right?
Yeah.
The moment, you know, the tower falls, we can see these scaling, you know, 1v9 characters actually take over. Even right now, if they're so far behind, all they need is one big shutdown, maybe a few more. And I think that what we're gonna see is what it comes down to is who plays this fight better, right? OTS is probably going to be looking to siege on the map while also contesting for this Baron, and they're most likely the ones that are going to be looking to start up and apply pressure on this Baron when they are ahead, you know, really keep the gas on while they're in the driver's seat. But if they mess up and they make one misstep and I'm not trying, pulls off a really good play and they find a pick and they end up getting Baron, that could be the entire game falling back into their hands.
Yeah, it really is. I feel like mainly dependent on the scaling from Kog'Maw. We already see that he has the Wit's End, he has the Runon's Hurricane, he has the Berserker's Grease. It's only a matter of maybe one or maybe two items for him to really be a menace in this game. Bioster has only died 2 times and he's just 1 and 2, so his KDA isn't necessarily that bad. He's just a little behind, but honestly, if they're just able to push for that scaling and play for that late game, then it is more than likely if it comes to that point that the game will end up swaying in the favor of INT.
It's not even that though, they really need to be proactive, right? They want to scale, but they can't just let themselves, you know, eventually just die, right? When their team is this far ahead. So OTS needs to be keeping up the pressure, and, you know, I'm not trying, needs to find some counterplay, or else they're just gonna slowly die. Not slowly, probably quickly die.
Yeah. Oh, we see Yoshishi dropping in, trying to get a kill. Oh, we see the flash from Darius jumping onto the Malzahar, but he's able to get out this big stuff coming in from Malzahar, securing the kill. This is exactly what you want to see. Did you want to see the turnaround fight when they used because they wasted all of their resources in the early, but the R from Brand just does so much damage in these scenarios where you're just able to shred so much. A lot of the resources on the side of OTS are down. INT is just going back, trying to reset Rendezvous back at the tower, trying to be able to hold from the siege from the side of OTS. However, they are able to stop it actually.
Yeah, so
Actually, pretty well played on the side of INT, being a 2-for-1. And the kill ended up going, I believe it was 1 to Malzahar, the other to Kog'Maw. Yeah, exactly where you want your kills to be distributed. Malzahar at this point in the game, you want to have some gold on, but it'll probably be order of priority being Kog'Maw, Malzahar, Set, Olaf, Lulu is going to be the order of priority when it comes to gold. And because Malzahar is just, I feel like, very underestimated when it comes to the damage he's able to dish out not AoE, over time. Because of how much burn he's able to do with his E, with the demonic embrace that he can build, with the Leandries. There's just so much burn to exert onto the enemy team. One E could literally half health a target. I feel like he's usually mistaken just as a utility bot, considering he has that silence, he has that suck.
Look at the burn.
Yeah, Yoshishi just being completely chunked out of it. Do not mistake it, that damage was not from the minions, it was just from that one E. And it just does so much damage, and he's not able to necessarily heal anymore because he does have the Oblivion Orb.
Yeah, and if that burn finds the right target, right? That was a, you know, 2-item Silas, right? Who has a bit of health in his kit. But if that was the squishy Brand, that E plus the Q combo could have literally been his death. But it seems like Baron's going to be start up, and there's a control word.
I guess they do not care.
Yeah.
A little
They're
bit
still
of
trying to force this though. Let's see what happens.
I believe they will be able to take it fast enough. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to contest in time. Actually, they're able to get it in the pit. Blue team is able to pick it up. OTS gets the Baron, but it ends up being a fight. Celibate Scroll drops in. We do see this stopwatch coming off. Olaf trying to pick it up. Haymaker dropped down from set, trying to secure the kill, but he does not go down without a fight, getting them both quite low. Intensify does fall down, so does Amphipod, and Carnage is able to pick up the kills as they have nowhere to go, just getting locked in the pit. Biostar and Gogo Fate quite low right now as they are getting chased down by OTS. Will they be able to survive and be able to get back to their base? Still trying to run down Carnage, getting the flash Q, trying to secure the kill. Gogo Fate is able to survive, however, just trying to kite them out, trying to get back to safety so they're able to hold their base in time. However, they just turn it into a siege, and they are able to get out. I believe that will be 2 inhibitors favoring them. If they're able to hold these inhibitors though, and the super minion waves are going to be pushing in, I believe that that is potentially a turnaround potential point on the side of INT if they're able to make good use out of it. If they're able to play it slow, get their gold up in their own base from safety, turtle down. However, it will be quite difficult when they're constantly exerting pressure, and considering there are no objectives on the map at the moment. Like Baron is down, Dragon is down. There is only so many options. Like there is only a limited amount of options that OTS can actually choose, and the biggest one will end up just being the siege. Considering most of
Yeah.
them still do have the Baron buff up, so it will be quite difficult. However, if they're able to make it past these next few waves that are, of sieges that are going to be exerted by OTS, I believe that INT does really have a shot at coming back into this game.
So I do want to break down as OTS takes their positions, getting this final siege to really punish, like you were saying. But I want to break down the last 2 team fights. The first one was the failed team fight from OTS, where they had a really unclear path of like how they wanted to engage and how they wanted to take the fight. We saw multiple flashes just to try and pick off one target, who while they were trying to pick off this one target, he had a Lulu to keep him safe, and then he just flashed to safety, and then I'm Not Trying was able to pick the fight that they wanted. Their backline was actually able to get damage. They were actually able to get some kills and some shutdowns. However, it seems like OTS has always won the fights that come down to splitting. For example, in that last Baron fight, we saw their frontliners, Olaf in the set, in the pit, whereas Kog'Maw, Lulu, and Malzahar had no real way to get in to actually do damage because they were getting zoned off. So in that scenario, it was a split fight, and it was really, really difficult. As with Baron, they're going to find their 3rd inhib, and with this 3rd inhib, their super minions are going to be unstoppable.
Yeah, I believe this may actually be where they end up closing the game. Just constantly sieging, having so much pressure exerted by the Baron minions. Will we be able to hold it? It'll be quite difficult. This Suck comes off, going for the dive. Lulu R comes off onto the Cess. The Haymaker gets dropped down, trying to fight as they go. Suppress coming back in on the side of from Intensify, trying to get it. The burn does so much damage. Zella gets the R off. They're getting quite low. The Flash Q picking up the kill, the double kill coming in, tries to get the E, but will they be able to hold it down? I believe this will be the end of game 1. Yep, Amphipod, Carnage securing the kill onto Biostar. First game goes to OTS. Well played.
And you could tell that OTS was really feeling themselves that game after such a absolute stomp. I think that that game ended the same way Darius ended, right? He was so competent that he was just dunking. He said, "I don't care. I'm going into your fountain. I came here to dunk," right? So what a beautiful game 1 from OTS. And I think ultimately it comes down to the jungle, right? I remember asking you before, right? Beforehand, who do you think it will be able to actually make this game? Who will actually be able to do something? And I think we both said that Amphipod has the edge when it comes to, okay, like when it comes down to this matchup, who has better tempo? And we both said that Amphipod had the edge, even though we saw an absolutely terrible start of this game, right? With Amphipod messing up that early level 2, and then the regank. Sure, they were able to get 1 for 2, but then that Olaf was so strong. But the thing is, those 2 kills that Olaf got at the very
It needed to
first
be made
3
use of.
minutes.
They needed to make use of it, but it just ended up going to nothing as they tried to take it as like a scaling scaling kills, but it needed to go to a snowball, and that opportunity and that window just passed, and then it ended up just being a complete like amphipod wave coming in, constant tempo being exerted by him, just being relentless, and it really never got matched when it needed to. He had the gold lead at the time. Amphipod was being a little like negligent of actually CSing and relying on that, and as long as Olaf was matching it, then it would prevent him from getting into the late game. When you have a Xin Zhao that has Conquer, that's exactly what you need to be doing. But that just never ended up happening, and it ended up just going hard favor of Anthropod, just out tempoing at every step of the game.
Yeah. I definitely think that Olaf getting those first 2 kills and then doing absolutely none of it, nothing at all with those first 2 kills is definitely what lost them the game. Those were the only kills he got. The entire game were those first 2 in the first 3 minutes. For the rest of the game, it felt like he was absolutely doing nothing. Sure, he was getting Drakes. Sure, he was trying to be like, okay, we're gonna play for late game, right? So let's try and get the let's start soul stacking, right? We're gonna get ourselves closer to soul. But the moment like they got that first 2 Drakes, and then not a single one after that. Olaf, in that own right, should have been in his jungle. Should have been punishing the Xin Zhao, always counter ganking, and even looking to be proactive.
He needed
on
deep
his own.
wards as well, 100%. He really needed to get deep wards in to contest Xin Zhao in his own camps. Because whenever Xin Zhao would be on his camps, you know that he's gonna gank right after. So because Xin Zhao, how he works, you just quickly clear, go into a gank, quickly clear, go into a gank, right? That's just constantly the template you need to be exerting. However, so you really need the deep wards so you can know at like maybe 30 seconds in advance where is he going to be ganking, so you can get there on time to match him. However, that just never happened. There was no deep vision to actually match him. There was no tempo. It just ended up just going in favor of Amphi. Big wave from him. Well played.
Yeah, and how do you feel, Krem? You want to keep talking about the game? Because I got much to say, but we can go to a pause.
I'm cool with talking about the game as well. I'm fine with it.
Cool. Because, like, we've talked about the main reason, like, honestly, we can chop this up. Jungle diff. Because when you pick scaling comps, you need that early game to really carry you through said early game. That's why it's called early game. And that's why you have early game, mid game, and late game champs. But the problem was, right, as much as we liked I'm Not Trying's comp, all of their kills were on that Olaf. And if that Olaf is not carrying the early game and then using that time where he's the strongest to get an advantage, get a gold lead, get kills onto his actual carries, then late game and mid late game, you're not going to be winning these skirmishes because Olaf is not going to be 1v9ing, especially when you do absolutely nothing with your 2 kills. So let's talk about that's the blunt, that's the upfront, honest, hey, that's why you guys ended up having a bad time. But let's talk about why the game was OTS favored, and I have to point out the solo lanes, even the duo lane and the bot lane, right? I think that Carnage and JT Ripper were playing this 2v2, maybe not.
Well. I think they were
I
playing
would
it
say
pretty
they were
well
playing it
because
really well.
yeah, because look at the CS. The Carnage is a mid laner, right? I mean, he plays ADC like, occasionally, right? I mean, last time I played ADC with him, we went Mordekaiser APC, right? And he goes in, CS's so well, constantly putting out pressure. But I feel like what really won that bot lane was actually the pressure and the presence exerted by Xin Zhao, 100%. Because constantly, if you saw the lane, they were relatively pushed up, right? And Olaf was like considering, do I look for a gank here? And then Xin Zhao would just stand there like, hey, no, you can't, and just constantly match him. And whenever they did go there, it ended up just being a split fight that was pushed out by Xin Zhao that he just took advantage of, and it ended up just going in his favor. Amphipod completely Amphipod honestly just took complete control of this game, in my opinion.
Yeah. But I want to point out, like, the solo laners did well in their own aspects, right? Amphipod was using Silas more than they used Malzahar. I think Malzahar did a really good job when it mattered, but the problem is he was never able to be played around. Olaf
Mm.
literally never played around him.
I think when it comes to these types of comps, I don't. Malzahar was a little bit of an iffy pick, admittedly, because think about it, right? They had two people that can jump in. They have Zinzao and they have Silas, right? So if Malzahar gets an R off, the other person can just jump in on him and then quite quickly cancel it, right? Malzahar, there's Zinzao R and Zinzao and his Q, and then Silas has his E, and if he steals his R, he can just turn it back around on him. So I feel like and I believe it was the last pick, the Malzahar was the last pick, and that is just giving them the Malzahar R as well, which I feel like Malzahar R against INT is significantly going to be more impactful in this team comp than Malzahar against OTS.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like
then-
that may have been a little bit of a mispick.
Yeah, well, I just think, like, in the end of it, like, you bring up good points. In the end of it, right, Amphipod was literally able to let the Silas do what he wants, right? They were constantly roaming together. They're constantly ganking mid.
Mhm.
They were constantly, like, Amphipod was literally allowing bot lane to, to do what they want, right? They weren't getting punished because they were able to have their way. Same with mid lane. And even then, right? Top lane. This is the third, obviously we got to go lane by lane. We have to talk about top lane. And then at the end of it all, it comes down to Amphipod. Isn't that crazy? It all comes down to that first gank, right? The first gank
Mhm.
top was the only real gank, in my opinion, right? That first gank was able to allow and actively enable Zealots in this 1v1 to win the matchup. And number two, we saw it. He was literally 1v2ing. When
Mhm.
Malzahar came up, it was
got the
it
kill.
was just it was crazy well played. Olaf never came top once through laning phase. It was absolutely horrid. Especially when, here's what I want to think. Okay, so if Amphipod's able to do so much, what went wrong, right? Let's think about what Mozatul did wrong, specifically. And number one, you're playing Olaf, we've talked about it, right? But he chose to gank bot lane. And I think that's where he went wrong. He decided, with my Lulu and with my Kog'Maw, we're gonna kill bot lane. But here's the problem.
They have an
Ezreal is so
Ezreal,
safe.
yep.
Who has the CC? Tell me, who's CCing Ezreal? Okay, well, okay,
Mhm.
so Olaf really only has a slow, Lulu has a slow, Kog'Maw has a slow. No real hard CC. You're never locking them
And then
down,
you
right?
can always just get out of most of the slows that they have just by pressing E. So
Yeah.
there's nothing they have that can like really lock him down.
So what was the point of what was the point of Mo being bought anyway? Especially like you saw how the 2v2 mattered, right? Olaf, Malzahar, they were dominating.
Also, if you were
mid-lane.
paying attention, like I don't believe Xin Zhao really ganked bot lane that much. He had that one fight that happened that ended up being a split that he took advantage of. But other than that, he really didn't have too much like bot ganking. He just was in the area, so it
Mhm.
prevented Olaf from pushing out whatever he wanted to, right?
Exactly.
What he really needed to be doing is Olaf needed to recognize that, push for wards in the top side of the jungle, and match him in all of his ganks in the early game. That was really what he needed to do. But he ended up just kind of he chose to play kind of like a scaling type champion on a snowballer, which ended up just completely going against them.
Yeah. As many people know, Olaf does not scale well, and I think coming down to it, Xin Zhao would have had an easier time with the Halo Blades, especially when you know, like, hey, if I'm going for early game, I need to go for early game.
Yeah.
The rest of my team will carry. But even then, Amphipod played this pretty well, I'll say that.
He goes Conquer, which, in my opinion, I still feel like in these matchups was a misplay. But seeing that it just never got taken advantage of, it ended up being the better option, right?
Yeah,
Because he never had to match anything, right?
Mhm.
He never got
Exactly.
contested. So Conquer is gonna end up being the better option. He's always gonna scale better. So he's gonna take Conquer, right? He played like he was playing Halo of Blades.
Yeah,
which was
exactly.
detrimental, but it never got punished. So it just ends up working anyways.
Yeah, exactly right.
He picked one rune page, played like the other, and then it
then
just
it
never
didn't
got
matter.
answered. But it does not matter because it never got answered. It never got punished. So it just ended up going for his favor.
I mean, wow. What do you expect coming into game 2? What do you think needs to be changed, and what do you think needs, like, obviously we've talked about what happened in game 1. right?
Wards, so 100% early wards.
Yeah.
Especially depending on the matchup. If he picks another champion like Xin Zhao, which is pushing for those early ganks, gonna get those early leads, then yeah, he really needs to ward. That is like the biggest thing. Ward and match, right? If you're playing matchups like that, if it's different, like let's say, I think Mo at this point he should be picking a champion kind of like Xin Zhao because he needs to be pushing out the early leads for them so they can snowball out and match, right? That's honestly what I believe. Amphipod is asking a question. He says, "Can I go Ivern in this game?" Uh, what are your thoughts on a potential Ivern pick, Coach
So
Kit?
Ivern needs to have the correct team to play around
Mhm.
because a good jungler will know how to punish an Ivern, and a bad Ivern will know how to mess things up.
Yeah.
Like, in my opinion, Ivern needs to be a core member of a comp because you're basically saying,
Mhm.
hey, I'm going for extreme scaling, and our comp is going to have this menace of an Ivern when it comes to.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we do see the bans coming out on the side of INT. They banned Nocturne, Swain, Xin Zhao. I do like these bans. Nocturne has just been an absolute menace. It's able to push out leads and simultaneously scale. Just like Xin Zhao, I think that those two are probably the best junglers in the game right now. And that's exactly what OTS wants to do again. They want to give Amphipod those types of junglers. So I think both of those are really good bans. And then JT Ripper gets his Swain banned out. So yeah, I really do like the bans coming in from INT. I don't know how I feel about the first pick brand, admittedly, on the
Yeah.
side of INT. I think it's more just trying to take it away from
Yeah.
uh from JT Ripper because he did
Mhm.
perform pretty well with it.
Yeah.
But brand, you want to be tanking into tankier comps
And then
that
they pick Zach.
and then they pick Zach. So they're kind of picking into it, admittedly, but I gotta give it to him. When it is a Zach, it's a slightly different scenario. Because he's jumping in, right? So
Mhm.
Brand's really good into slower fights against tankier comps, right? And then
Yeah.
Zach is kind of like the one exception to that rule because he pushes for fast, right? He pushes
Oh,
for
definitely.
jump in, get the Q, get the CC, enable his team in an instant, right? Cover
Yeah.
that distance. So I really do like the OTS picking up Zach here. I mean, I think it is probably one of Amphipod's best junglers. At least he uses it a
Mhm.
lot in solo queue, and it is exactly what they want. They want a high tempo jungler, and a
Mhm.
champion like Zach, I feel like really can fulfill that. Especially with JT Ripper tending to
Ooh.
play APCs. INT picking up Sejuani in response to the Zach. How do you feel about the Sejuani pick against Zach in
So
this scenario?
I'm actually not sure. Actually, never
Mhm.
mind. I do know this matchup. It had to come to me. So
Yeah.
Zach and Sejuani do very similar things, but Sejuani does things at a range. Does that make sense? All of Zach's
Mhm.
damage is around him, and you really need to have people that can follow up when you jump from point A to point B, right? With your creative angles, you need to blow up the ADC. But the problem with Sejuani is her Q counters that really well.
Ooh, we do
She
see a
interrupts
Ziggs
it.
brand right now. I actually really like these picks so far from INT. The Sejuani I feel like is a little iffy. It really does come back down to the rest of the draft to see how effective Sejuani I feel like really will be.
Mhm.
Because when it comes to Zach, if he's Sejuani, it's literally just gonna be a war of attrition. They're just gonna be both Giga tanks. Neither of them are gonna be able to take down each other. Maybe Sejuani is able to do more damage. But it's like in a shorter period of time because when he gets her ease off and everything, she has to wait for the cooldown on it on specific targets. So it's kind of iffy.
Mhm.
But I do like the Ziggs brand pick here. They just are able to dish out so much AP damage, and Sejuani is able to tank for them. It
Mhm.
really is going to be like, how can Zach get onto their backline? We do see
Yeah.
the Nami pick with Jin, just like a pretty like backline type comp from
Mhm.
OTS. Trying to play safe. What this tells me is Zach is going to be he's gonna try to play around mid top again. He's gonna be playing
Mhm.
top side of the map 100%. When it comes, actually, probably mid, and then side lanes can like go either way, 50-50, right?
Yeah.
Because when he has that comp and he jumps onto them, Jin can get his W off, Nami can get her bubble off, he can get that chain CC to enable them. It still is kind of iffy when looking at INT's comp because you're not really sure where everything's going.
Mhm.
Brand could be, he could be mid or support. Most likely going to be a support pick, admittedly. and then Ziggs can go either mid or APC. So it's kind of, I don't know, maybe a Ziggs jungle, out of
Man,
out of nowhere. The complex's recommendation for me to
yeah.
play.
This is
We are
Ziggs
seeing the.
Jungle, Sejuani,
Mhm,
APC.
mhm.
So I mean, we were talking about it, right? Because we both
Is
saw
Ronnie
it.
being top laner? Who knows?
Yeah, true. So I want to point this out, right? When it
Mm,
comes to Zac versus Sejuani, I think I always favor the Zac, right?
mm.
You need to be a good Sejuani to actually do stuff, and Zac is just easier to execute. And also, Sejuani gets her um, power spikes, right? From, duels and early skirmishes because of her E passive, right? So you need to have champions that
Oh,
do that well.
we see a
And
Trundle pick coming in. Okay. As a
I was just
Trundle
talking about it.
enthusiast myself, I love this pick here. They have a Garen, they have a Zac. That is exactly what they need. They need a person to frontline switch it around right on top of them. I love this Trundle pick right here. On the side of
Holy.
INT. I'm a full Trundle enthusiast. I cannot express how much I love this pick.
Yeah,
Uh
I was talking about how Sejuani needs like duelists, needs people to set
mhm,
her up and have good skirmishes, but they just picked the probably like one of the best
mhm,
duelists in
100%.
1v1 champs, right? Irelia Trundle. This is an
Mhm.
insane power play by INT. An absolute banger of a draft decision as Corki is the final,
Ooh.
locked in pick for Yoshishi.
Corky's a pretty decent pick, I believe, in this team comp.
Hmm.
Trundle drops the E and Corky's able to get out quite instantly with his W.
Yeah.
Yeah, overall, I do think that this is. Um, I feel like this really is like Sejuani in this team comp needs to act on a very short window,
Oh,
right?
definitely.
As soon as Zach jumps in, get the Q, get everything off, keep your backline safe, right? That is
Hmm.
exactly what you need to do. If they don't, and other than that, they really don't have any counter engage, right?
Uh-huh.
Other than the instant window that Sejuani can deal with, and maybe the Ziggs throwing out his W to back him up, but that's such a small window they need to take advantage of. It really is going to be a battle of time when it comes to OTS versus INT, more specifically on the Zac engage.
Hmm.
Um,
So,
okay. Okay.
okay, let's
We can just,
do
you
it
want to do after
after.
champ select, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, after champ select with the actual 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Overall, I really do. I think team comp wise, it's like I think it's gonna be an amphipod game as again. Not
You
necessarily
think
saying that
so?
he's gonna win this game, like for them, but it's dependent on amphipod.
Oh,
Amphipod
definitely.
is the deciding factor of this game. Not to put any pressure on him if he is listening, but it
Yeah.
really is a matter of how he push out the early tempo.
Mhm.
Probably I'd say on mid lane, or actually mid lane and bot lane specifically.
Yeah.
I don't think you're really gonna be wanting to fight top lane, especially against a Trundle. Trundle just turns around, beats you up a bunch, and then you're
Mhm.
dead yourself. In a tank v tank matchup.
Yeah.
Trundle
Are
always
they
wins
really
those
tanks
battles.
though?
Uh, Referring to Trundle or Zac
Garen and
Garen?
Trundle. Are Garen and Trundle really tanks?
I'm not sure. Maybe. I feel like they really are. They're kind of like bruiser fighters, but Trundle's always gonna be able to beat up the tank, and the tank on their team is gonna be Zac. So
Yeah.
if Trundle gets onto Zac and prevents the rest of how they want to play these fights is Trundle, as soon as Zac jumps in, Sejuani wants to completely turn all of her attention onto the Zac, quickly get a CC to let Trundle go onto him, right? From there, Brand and Ziggs want to be just throwing damage onto the backline to zone them off. Ziggs wants to throw out his bombs, Brand wants to throw out his W, E, R, whatever,
Mhm.
just to prevent the rest of the team from getting on. And then from there, Trundle needs to just jump on and beat them up a bunch. When it comes to the Aurelia pick, I feel like the Aurelia in this game is really going to just be like a cleanup crew for the rest of the team.
Yeah. So here's the thing though, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out how the team comp works, like as the pieces get together. But the reason I can't do that is because I don't actively understand Like, my brain cannot comprehend how these matchups are actually going to work. You have Garen versus Trundle. You have Corki versus Irelia. You have Ziggs Brand versus Jin Nami. I have no clue who is favored in any of these matchups. So I'm really, really interested to see how the hell is this game going to be played out. Because early game in these 1v1 matchups and in these skirmishes, we can say like, hey, these people have edge, these people. But the problem is, right? I don't understand what a Corki is going to do into an Irelia and what an Irelia is going to be able to do because of it, right? I don't know how Trundle is going to be enabled. I don't understand how this Garen is going to have game impact. I just don't see how, okay, who's favored in this 2v2? Who's going to win this bot side matchup? Ziggs or Brand or Jin or Nami, right? It's very, very difficult. So for me, I absolutely just, I think this game can be absolutely I think this is going to be a stomp of a game. I don't think it's going to be close. I think just like game one, somebody's going to get an edge and then they're going to hold on to it because, or
I think when it comes to
don't know.
these matchups, the only matchup that I can say is definitively favored for one champion over the other. Actually, there's two matchups that are both favored. I'd say Trundle v Garen is favored towards Trundle. Trundle presses R is always going to be able to win those extended fights against Garen. And Aurelia versus Corki is skill matchup, mainly dependent on if Corki makes a mistake. If Corki messes up his cooldowns, right? And I feel like if Intensify just keeps track of that and just keeps track of, oh, does Corki have his W up? What does Corki have flash up, right? He's just gonna be able to jump onto Corki, and Corki's not gonna have any escape. He can get that E off, he can get that R off to slow him down, right? It really will be dependent on that. I feel like both, when it comes to individual matchups, they're favored towards INT. However, with the Zac in this game, I feel like it can 100% be turned on its table. So I
Yeah,
feel like I 100% agree. One person's gonna get a lead, it's gonna snowball out of control. That's
yeah,
literally what they need. They need to push for that early game. So Mo as a tool cannot be making that same mistake because it'll be a massive jeopardy if he does it again. If he does not like match very early the Zac, get that early vision, be able to what he needs to do is he needs to match the first gank. That I think is gonna be one of the maybe the deciding factor of this game. Will he
then
match the
again,
first
who do
gank?
you favor in the 2v2?
In the 2v2, it's more of a matter of not necessarily the winning, but if Moses Tool is able to get them out of the game, out of the fight, if he's able to save his teammates, right? Let's
Um,
use Q, W him out, and then like literally, I feel like if that becomes the case, because they win the individual matchups, even if slightly, if he's able to neutralize those early ganks, then it'll be favored for INT. But if not, it'll be favored OTS.
yeah, so it seems like we're having a lot of difficulties in champ select for some reason. But going back to what you were saying, right?
Mhm.
I understand that, but
Mhm.
I want you to imagine a game where the junglers are not in, right?
Mhm.
If Garen somehow is able to punish a mistake on this Trundle and get ahead, sure, Trundle can have his R and have counterplay, but I feel like Garen is one
Garen
of
will
those
win,
champs.
100%.
Yeah. The same with the mid lane, right? If Irelia gets one kill onto Corki, I feel like that's just game over for mid lane. Same with bot lane. The bot lane, the way I see it, is so absolutely complex because Jin Nami is a really good lane. But the problem is, I'm not sure if that's a good lane into Brand Ziggs.
Because Brand
And
Six have the distance, they have the damage, they have the
yeah,
zone. They'll be able to lock down a lot of what Jin Nami want to do. Nami won't be able to get into range safely to get her bubbles off. There's no way she'll
hmm,
be able to, right? It really is
yeah,
dependent on the jungler. I feel like this game.
yeah. I just feel like we have volatile matchups all over the board, and then with the junglers in play, how the heck would you decide, okay, what am I playing towards? What is my win condition? Who in these specific matchups do I want to get ahead? Who would you choose? Let's go one by one. Let's say you are the Sejuani. Who are you playing towards? Early game.
I'm I'm admittedly just playing towards wherever I see Zac go. And when it comes to these matchups, I most likely will see him go either top or mid. So I'd want to be playing on the top side of the map.
Okay. You think Zach's going to be top side of the map, but isn't that where Sejuani is favored because that is where Trundle and Irelia are? And I would say nobody can beat Sejuani, Trundle, Sejuani, Irelia. Even if you have Garen Zach. quirky Zach. I think Zach might try and punish Brandon Ziggs because they're going to be wave clearing and harassing and poking, but that costs a lot of mana. I think that's where Brandon Ziggs have the hardest time, and I think that with jungle interference bot lane, I think Zach can absolutely make it so that this Jin Nami all of a sudden can do, even though they're not favored to, like absolutely be oppressive and punish the Ziggs brand to the point where, like, that's
He
unplayable.
needs to do it during first back, before the first back of enemy of the Ziggs brand back, because if once they get that back, they're gonna be able to deal so much damage to tanks, especially. So I feel like it'll be kind of a danger zone for Zach in that scenario.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we will be quickly taking a break before we get into the game, and yeah, see you on the Rift.
Alright, welcome back everybody. This is game 2 of IMT. INT versus OTS. And yeah, game 1 was a banger. OTS taking the win. Let's see about game 2 as there might be some bot lane shenanigans on the side of I'm not trying.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Instantly spotted out. Really good defensive wards. I would like to see Garen place a ward under blue buff. Take some time to punish the fact that they were all overextended in the bot side of the map.
Yeah, so far it's kind of
Minions have spawned.
nothing
Wait.
happening so far. No shenanigans. Maybe we'll see something on
Look
the
at
blue,
Zilot.
but Azela's just chilling in the brush. Oh, and we are
Bro.
seeing a little bit of a fight.
What?
does- Intensify coming to cut him off, taking E level 1, getting the stun off. The Q coming in to slow him down a little bit. Celibate Scroll doing more damage as a result. PTA coming off, and that's first blood, most likely dropping down, maybe?
If he flashes, I think he lives. He should have flashed.
Oh!
Wow.
His flash, he just chooses not to flash. Extremely greedy by Zella. And then he just
Yeah.
completely will lose first wave or has to drop his TP. That is massive, actually. Yeah, no, Trundle can just take advantage of this lane from now on.
Yeah, wow.
White Troll by Zella, just absolutely outplaying in game 1, and now maybe his all the skill that he had went into game 1. Unfortunate.
Yeah. After all those failed champion selects, he kind of forgot how to play the game. He's just getting warmed up. But yeah, I don't think anybody can justify him sitting in that bush for 10 years. I would have just placed that ward
Yeah,
and gotten
just
out.
drop a ward back.
Uh-oh.
Seeing a fight happening in the mid lane as Aurelia jumps in. Ends up not really amounting to much. We see a fight in the bot lane simultaneously. Intensify gets the kill. However, simultaneously dies to the tower shot. And then as they're pushing out, fight in the bot lane. Gogo Fate gets the Q off on Carnage, gets the burn, and secures a Dark Harvest stack with that. Constantly trying to poke out.
So, who do you actually favor in that 1-for-1 that happened mid lane?
100% it's going to be the Aurelia. Aurelia is able to snowball significantly harder than Corki. Corki really wants to push for the mid to mid game-ish. He's able to just deal so much AP damage as a result of his passive. Intensify on the Aurelia, most likely will be able to snowball significantly significantly harder.
Yeah, Aurelia will pick up a lot of CS here. Actually, this is kind of weird. Really weird. He's never gonna prio. Is that Mo? Graham, you there?
Sorry, I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties. I'm trying to
Yeah,
get
yeah,
this
all
thing
good. I
back
can
up.
take over if you need me.
Yeah, just can take over for a little bit.
Yeah,
Pretty
so
much.
basically what we saw there was Sejuani was trying to get top scuttle, but the problem with that was, well, as the flash comes in from Amphipod, will get the knockback, the good W to get the damage reduction, does find a good chunk onto Amphipod, doesn't even pop his passive though, as that was just pretty clean from both of them. Amphipod playing that really well, getting Corki a kill. Mo will pick this up, does Q through, doesn't have flash, so that's not going to be a kill anytime soon. But yeah, Sejuani going pretty aggressive when he had no prio. Trundle took a back. There was a big wave mid. That's what I really was trying to strive for. Is the good flash. Great play by Carnage. Using that force shot to absolutely burst and take punish of the fact that Bio does not have heal in this lane. They have TP Ignite, and that TP was previously used to get a nice little tier. But right now he's crying because his poor AD support is dead because of it.
But from now on, I believe that this game will actually, from how it's playing out with the early levels, I feel like it's going to be really dependent on two people specifically, and that'll be Amphipod and Yoshishi, right? Yoshi has a kill lead on Intensify, and I feel like what he really needs to make use of here is roaming with that package. how will he push out his the leads in other lanes, right? Most likely he
Yeah.
wants to be pushing out in, I'd say, bot lane. Is a little more safe relative to Trundle, because Trundle could be an absolute menace. If take if like if like managed, then yeah, I don't know. Really is
Yeah.
dependent.
It's a
on him
bit
in the bot.
disheartening for the viewers at home when the two people you pointed out are both on the side of OTS. What are the hopes of I'm not trying as
Oh,
this game has
Uh,
unfolded?
just to clarify, I mean, like, it's really dependent on them of how they play out I feel like when it comes to I'm not trying, it really will. Yeah, we're just gonna see a fight in the mid lane right now. How Intensify is able to bounce back, and also Moza too. I really do think this will be a game. Oh, Gogo Fate coming in for the roam.
Oh, Gogo Fate securing the kill. So well
Gogo
played. I was
Fate.
going to say it was going to be Zealot securing the kill, turning back the tides in favor of him against Celibate Squirrel. Yeah, I was going to say it was going to be a jungle mid game when it comes to Moza 2 Intensify versus Amphipod Yoshishi. But Gogo Fate absolutely roaming, getting the flash Q ignite, securing the kill. Very, very well played on the side of Gogo Fate in the roam, and also very well played from Moses Tool and Intensify, being able to secure those kills, just transferring it directly into a dragon. Very, very well played.
Yeah, they might get caught out here though.
Believe they will. Howl will transfer over. Intensify tries to jump back in to secure a kill. Biosturg securing a kill onto Only Carnage. JT Ripper secures a kill onto Intensify as they try to run away, trying to leave it as a 1-for-1. Amphipod trying to get the jump in. It does connect. JT Ripper gets the bubble. Yoshishi just shredding him down. Amphipod trying to get the CC, the Q onto
Wow.
him. The R coming off from Amphipod, securing the kill. Very, very well played. Right after by OTS, securing the kills, making it a 3-for-1 in their favor. That's exactly what they want to see. They want to see Yoshi roam to secure the kills, and they want to see him roam specifically with Amphipod. The biggest thing when it comes to Corki is that he does not necessarily have any lockdown by himself. His lockdown is so minimal. The best he has is like a slow on his W that's extended out with his package. So
Yeah.
a champion like Zac that is able to match him with the W with his
Uh-huh.
and has the lockdown and is able to stall out fights just for Corki is exactly what you want to see from OTS. So very, very well played.
Yeah, Amphipod played that so beautifully, man.
Mhm,
That
100%.
was just a sight to behold. But I want to talk about just briefly this top matchup, right?
Mhm.
Trundle got the first blood, right?
Mhm.
He didn't even he also took the TP from the Garen, correct? So
Yeah.
getting solo killed up there in the top lane with that, first
Massive.
blood, just not respecting. That's definitely like
I believe it was mainly a mistake of wave management, if I do remember. He just let the Garen be in an optimal position, and Garen could just run him down at that point. And Trundle at that point just didn't want to fight back, I guess, and then ended up
Yeah.
losing. Very, very, very big misplay from Celibate Squirrel because he did have a massive advantage.
But wow, the gold lead is in the favor and the kill lead towards on the spot already from basically the benefit factors being this Corki, but Amphipod playing this so well.
100% Moses Tool jumps in, gets the R off. Yoshishi falls down. Very, very well played from the Sejuani from Moses Tool. I think he's compensating a
The
lot for
bot
the
lane.
mistake that he made in the game one. We see a fight in the bot lane. JT, actually it's Gogo Fate. Sorry, I forgot that. Brand. Gogo Fate barely surviving. Same thing with JT Ripper, both in quite low. As the ADC is trying to slug it out in the bot lane. We see Amphipod hovering top lane right now, sweeping out the tri-brush, trying to look for something as Sejuani's also in the top lane. We may see a 2v2 in the top lane if this ends up playing out. We see Amphipod jumping and gets the Q off. Will he be able to connect it? It does! That Q range is absolutely massive. Should have disconnected, but I guess it won't. E comes off from Celibate Squirrel, allowing him to disengage. And as Moses Tool kind of just chilling in the river, trying to secure the scuttle, I believe. And yeah, ends up just not really amounting to that much. Actually,
Yeah, what a
There
beautiful
wasn't-
pillar from Celibate Squirrel.
yeah, very, very well placed pillar. Actually, there was not a scuttle crab in that river. I'm a little. What was Moses Tool doing in the river then?
He was waiting the 30 minutes for it to spawn.
Oh, okay.
So I do want to point
Patience,
out,
though.
right? We were looking at the bot lane before that top lane play happens, and it seemed like only Carnage. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Intensify, absolute menace, gets that lead. Yeah, this is exactly what you want to see from INT. He's just constantly pushing out. Corky's saying, yo, my map, maybe he's having a little bit of difficulty when it comes to his mini
Big
map.
bot.
Oh my god, very well played by Amphipod. Just, oh! The
It's
Amphipod
disgusting.
special! The Amphipod special! What is
Oh
this?
my.
Well played.
But that's mid tower going down. Gold lead now in the favor of. I'm not trying.
Yeah, I mean, so far I feel like the two biggest performers this game is going to be Intensify and Amphipod. Just absolute menaces so far. The Amphipod's ganks so well executed. Wusu comes in the bot lane. The Zigzar comes out in the center on only Carnage. But JTR, oh, Biosurf getting forced the flash out of JTR, but Mozu
fourth
still
shot.
falls down. The fourth shot does get knocked down.
And that's
Biosurf
heal.
trying to secure the kill, and the heal comes off. The fourth shot comes in, blown up. So well played by JT and Carnage. You thought that it would go in the favor of INT, but no, Carnage turns on its head with those fourth shots, doing so much damage.
Yeah, Carnage and JT played that so well, but the fishy business with Nami picking up both kills, 404, Nami APC not found, as this
Yeah,
Nami is the
100%.
most, you know,
See, the
He's
reason
the
why I
fourth
feel like that
shutdown.
was in like, oh my god, fight in the top lane going on. Celibate Scroll trying to turn on its head, gets the pillar, forces the very well placed pillar actually, forces the flash out of Garen. Wow, that fight could have easily. See, what needs to happen in the top lane is when Zealot jumps in as Garen and just spins onto him, Celibate Scroll just needs to say, hey, you know what, I'm gonna fight back. Because if he lets that happen and he lets Zealot just fight him like that, he's gonna lose 100% of the time. He needs that confidence just to fight back because he will win those with the PTA. We see Amphipod jump in yet again, and the
beautiful.
follow-up wave. It's so beautiful. Amphipod special coming back at it. Double kill going to Amphi. Oh my god, absolute menace of the jungle. Oh, Intensify gets the E, is able to sidestep. It hops over the wall. Amphipod,
hit the blast cone.
absolute menace of. This is why Amphipod is one of the best junglers of AVG, one of the best junglers in AVG. He just absolutely showing it off on one of his best picks as well. Just
I had my
such a good
doubts.
player.
Look at
Oh,
this.
he gets frozen under tower. Okay, you know, you have some good fights, you have some bad ones. Amphipod, an absolute menace, then taking kind of an unfavorable fight under tower. Shutdown going. 300 gold shutdown, total of 600 gold going over to Mo is a tool. Admittedly, he should have probably let that go to Intensify. A little bit of a troll take from Mo is a tool, a little bit of a selfish play, but it is what it is. You move on. You still get the shutdown in Amphipod, which is still pretty big. Celibate Scroll pushing in top lane. Let's see how much gold they are sitting on. We do see that Sejuani and Trundle are sitting on quite a bit of gold. So is Zealot. At this point, maybe Celibate Scroll should consider shoving in the wave. I would actually consider maybe pushing for a little bit more of a gold. Maybe like get 1200 so you get that. You get the Tiamat, and and then from then on just constantly shove waves top lane, because. And then just constantly shove waves, look for roams in skirmishes. Constantly shove waves, looks and roams skirmishes. At this point in the game, that's what you really want to see from Celibate Scroll, especially considering his
Watch this.
TP up. He goes for the fight, drops the W, drops the chomp. The pillar comes down. Zealot's trying to run for his life. PTA comes off. He gets chunked to half health in only a matter of a few autos and 2 Qs and his R. Honestly, didn't take that much with that R to just completely chunk out of Garen. Very forces him out of lane. Actually, Zealot chooses to stay in lane. Celibate Scroll chooses to continue the push. He is sitting on 1300 gold at the moment. He should consider
Yeah.
probably backing quite soon.
The
And
Trundle
then
subjugate is down though, so the kill potential from Celibate Scroll is actually
does
not
drop.
as high.
it's not as high, but with the PTA still there, I feel like he could 100% still pull it off. He is still favored to win these fights. With that Trundle, big throbbing
Pillar.
staff of his and pillar just going at it, you know.
This is bad.
Oh, Intensify dodges it. So well played so far by him. The Amphipod special coming in, though. Still not enough to be able to secure him down. Intensify the pillar, preventing him from leaving. Such a well-placed pillar. Will he be able to secure the kill? Fight going on in the bot lane as well. JT Ripper brought low, drops the R. Top lane is able to secure the kill. Go Fate trying to look for some more under their tower. Where Carnage is able to get out. Very, very well played on the side of INT. Turning this game on its head. So well played, turning the gold lead in their favor, even though they're still 2 kills down. Honestly,
Yeah.
Intensify has been playing out of his mind this game. His roams and skirmishes and how he's been pushing out his lead in his own lane has been absolutely well played. I don't think Amphipod has been able to get a good E off onto him. He's always been able to sidestep it because he's always pushed for further dives with his E than was necessary, and he just needs to walk back a little bit. Then
Yes.
that's turret.
So I want to point out, right? I said that this game was going to be a stomp, but already we've seen this back and forth motion of one team getting first blood, the other team coming back, right? It's just this, you know, fluctuating stock, you know, type beat movement of this gold graph, right? Who's in the lead? Who has the advantage? But it keeps going back and forth. That it looks close, but you also have to realize, man, this team's really, really favored. Oh wait, I just took one breath. Now the other team's really, really favored. This game is close, but it's also just takes one fight to be cracked wide open. Does that make sense?
100%.
This is weird, but I feel like something big is about to happen, and that fight that cracks this game open is going to happen around this Drake. Corki does have package. That's their timing.
We're seeing a fight in the mid lane right now. Intensify does drop the R, but it does end up whiffing. Zella drops the R, the Divine Judgment just taking him down. And they're just going to get chased down at this point. Trying to turn it on its head, but however, it's not going to be enough. Amphipod gets so low, and Amphi falls down to Go Fate's burn. Ends up still being a ace for 1. Very, very favored on the side of OTS. They need pushing off these leads right now. Very, very well played. Pushing it out on the Dragon. Yeah, they're just gonna get Dragon at this point.
Was it
As
4 for
Carnage
1?
pushes mid. Yeah, 4. I believe it was 5 for 1. Wasn't it?
Oh. Was
believe
it?
I believe so.
That was
Faster, I think,
weird.
also died.
The gold is still in the favor if I'm not trying. Like, they might pick up this mid tower, which will actually topple it over to their side. Or not, says Ziggs. Carnage really wants it. But yeah, wow. After that potential ace, I'm not sure if it was an ace, but if it was an ace, that's all it was, right? They're now just, what, 300 gold ahead with that and a Drake. But still, this is strange. It's close, but also not close. That's so weird.
Yeah, the goal lead is so small, but OTS is dominating these fights. It really is just a matter of shutdowns and CS, because, I mean, other than the jungle, and I guess slightly ADC, it really is, like, especially with mid lane, Intensify just CSing so well, just having a massive gold lead as a response. Oh, the R dropping down, Intensify getting CC'd out, but will he still be able to get the kill? He does take out the Zac passive. Zella trying to take the fight. He gets the R off, securing the kill onto Trundle. Another kill secured off. They're just get kills left and right. Full on fight happening right now. Zella trying to spin, secure the kill on Go Fate. Carnage gets the Q off and gets the kill. Yeah, another fight favored towards OTS, and I believe that will be another ace instead of at this game, another just 1 for 5. Very, very well played. Yeah, it's just Amphipod jumping in, willing to take those deaths for his team to follow up. Amphipod absolutely enabling his team in every single fight, and the rest of his team is following up on it so well. Very, very well played.
But I want to point this out too, right? At the very beginning of that fight, we have to give our hats off to Intensify. That looked like such a big engage. It looked like that was like a huge form of them, and it looks like they were winning, right? At the very beginning of the fight, it looked like they were winning that so hard, right? It looked so much in favor of I'm not trying. But Amphipod going back in, them finding the damage, them finding the CC, Like, it was just a really big comeback in that fight, to the point where it's like, wow, that wasn't even close. It's a 1 for 5, right? So it's close, but it's not close. But in end, it's making it look close, because sure, that was just an ace for the side of OTS, but they're still not even that far ahead. Like,
I
with
feel
that
like it
Riptail-
really is just. I feel like I don't know. I feel like they're not dealing nearly as much damage as they really want to. I feel like there isn't necessarily enough follow up from the rest of the team. It really is Intensified jumping in, and the rest of his team kind of not necessarily following up with nearly as much as they would want to. I feel like Intensify goes in, does all the work, and then his team ends up fighting afterwards, which is not it. They need more coordination when it comes to it. They need to be playing around Intensify's engage, and if not, then it's
Wow.
always going to fall on its head. Jumping in from Amphipod, coming in, the big R coming in, Mo's Tool falling down, Biostar falling down. All of them are falling down, bodies left and right as INT is actually turning it on its head. Intensify getting the 800 gold. Wow.
That was a 3v5.
That was a 3v5. I actually can. I mean, wow. 3v5.
So like that's what I'm saying, right? It was so close, but it also looked not close at all. It looked like OTS was doing so well, right? They had a really good engage, and I'm like, wow, this is 3v5, and they're destroying this. That's insane that they're winning. But then all of a sudden, I'm not trying. They put on their pants and they're like, okay, it's time for the big boys to do their stuff. And then Trundle Irelia clean up so well that it's to the point where it's like, wow, they really didn't stand a chance. And then it's like, the gold lead is so close. But the fights don't tell the correct story. It's insane.
Honestly, it's like, I don't know. It's absolutely just constantly going back and forth and no way at all. Actually, it's really confusing, admittedly, because it's like you really can't definitively say which team is in the lead. Like, I mean, at this point, I guess statistically wise, you can say OTS, but in like these 3v5s that are getting close and just going back and forth, it's really anyone's game still at this point. It really could go either way. Intensifies is absolutely playing out of his mind, and then the rest of his team is I feel like starting to catch up gradually as they're able to follow up.
So I want to say this, right? Obviously, top tower just fell, but for the longest time, they had all 3 outer turrets alive. So I'm not trying. Actually, did have an advantage where they had 4 towers. What an engage!
Oh, the R comes down. Mo is a tool trying to get the kill off on our JT Ripper. The R comes down from Ziggs, dropping the bomb. Intensify wreaking havoc. Gogo Fate in the backline getting absolutely demolished by Yoshishi. Scroll trying to chase down Amphi, gets the slow off, but will he able to jump out? Amphi does jump out, but Intensify just cleans up on it. Intensify, the madman himself, just making so much use out of it. The gold lead is gradually closing with only about a 1k lead at this point. Intensify just playing so well, and now they're gonna be able to secure Dragon, even get it up 2 dragons to 2 dragons. So well played. Biostar does purchase the Zanyas at this point. So does Brand. That is absolutely what they need right now. They need to be able to survive up for Intensify to follow up. That is really their win con at this point. Intensify, the madman himself, just cleaning up so well in these fights.
Yeah,
Very well played.
That was a 5-on-5 with Corki package, right? So I would have taken OTS. Like, they were 10 kills ahead. Sure, the enemy team had 3 towers ahead, and at the moment it's 2. But still, the gold lead is so close. Like, it's absolutely insane.
It's a 10 kill difference, but like a 1 kill, like it's so insane that like
And even these
INT is pushing so well from behind.
These fights aren't even, like, they're always lopsided. It's never like, oh man, both members living with 1 member left. It's always just an absolute domination, but wow, Amphipod is insane.
It really is who makes the first move. Mo's-A-Tool just jumped in, got the R off, and is able to just take advantage of the fight. Zigzar came off, just nuking the backline. We are seeing a fight happening right now. Who will it favor? Amphipod getting chunked down. Celibate Squirrel doing so much damage to the tank. Zealot is running them down. Biostar does drop the Zanyas. That is exactly what they need. And he ends up falling down anyways. Carnage just... See, it's just constantly going in favor. Demolish of each team. So... Carnage just trying to secure the kills. Oh, whiffs the first few shots, but is able to get the last one. Yoshishi looking around in the jungle, trying to clear up what they can. And now I believe they are going for the Baron. Yoshishi is going to be able to probably do enough damage to shred for this team as Ampapod just tanks it. Carnage pulling up as well. Yes, that's gonna probably be Baron for OTS. The fight before, it's in favor. It's a complete domination from INT. The fight after for OTS. The fight after for INT. Constantly going back and forth. The tides are not static at all. Constantly changing. This is
Yeah.
such a tense game.
I'm at a loss for what is going on because, sure, OTS just picked up a really good fight, but that fight, the fact that, hey, we were able to get Baron was off of the fact that that fight was all over the place. Both teams were like clenched. All the people watching, like it was at no point could you have predicted who the winner was until the final moments. Like that
We do
was
see that JT Ripper. I want to ask you about this. JT Ripper ended up taking the blue buff. What are your thoughts about that specifically?
I mean, Sejuani doesn't need it. Irelia doesn't need it. Once you
Oh,
give it to
JT Ripper
Ziggs,
took
though-
it. Sorry, JT Ripper on the side of
Oh my goodness, so sorry.
yeah. All good.
Instead of Corki.
I feel like either Corki and Zach would have made better use of it, mainly
I don't think
because
Zach would've made better use of
JT.
it.
I feel like the CC he can get off is better use because in these fights, JT Ripper it just gets nuked every single fight. It's usually Mozatul just jumping onto him and then Biostar following up with the nuke damage.
Oh.
So I feel like when he's constantly getting nuked like that in these fights, like for the last two fights he just got popped out. I'm
Yeah.
not sure how I feel about him having because he is in quite a. If like
Yeah.
one misposition, that blue buff is going to be turned on their heads, and I don't know
So
how
I
to
can
feel about
explain
that.
it to you actually. The meta here is Nami gets instantly blown up at the start of the fight, but then the Irelia that then takes the blue buff, gets the
Oh,
transfer blue buff,
the buff
and then
transfer
dies.
program.
Yes, yeah. So that's basically what they're going with.
Uh-huh,
They're basically
uh-huh.
saying, Nami, we want you to int so that we can have the blue buff on a target.
Amphipod
that is
jumps
a-
in actually. Sorry to interrupt. Amphipod jumps in, gets nuked out by the Ziggs, gets so much damage dealt onto him. It does not necessarily amount to anything. They're trying to look for maybe a potential re-siege. Amphipod hovering around the wolf pit, maybe looking for an extension, an overextending of them. Intensify prepping his E, trying to look for something here. Almost got the stun off onto Zella. Zella running in, drops the stride breaker, slows him down. Amphipod
is
jumps
going
into
on?
the fight. The wave comes in. JT Ripper just is starting to deal so much utility in these fights. Intensify does so much damage. An absolute menace. Oh, Biostar triple kill.
This is the
What
problem.
just happened?
They let the Nami live. The Nami was supposed to die. That is the problem with this play. You gotta let the Nami have the
100%.
blue buff so that. Okay.
He has
I'll
to
be
die
honest,
first. 100%.
That fight was so. I'm like, oh my god, OTS is playing really well. Oh my goodness, I'm not trying is doing really well. Oh wait, this is looking really good. And then boom.
Intensify
gets-
moment. Biostar
Intensify.
moment, yeah. If they're looking for a siege here, like they 100% can do it. They have a Ziggs and a Trundle. They can push for so much right now.
Well,
Even
it
though
will end up just being Drake. It will be Soul Point Drake being picked up as well as Inhibitor. But
Yeah.
still, wow.
that brings them to Soul Point.
The gold lead though, the kill lead.
Just constantly going
believe
back
that?
and forth. You know what's the craziest part? I believe that every time a team has won a fight, it's because they've been in a gold deficit.
Oh my goodness,
No.
wait, that's it. You've cracked the code.
The less gold, the better.
That's the meta. Holy
Oh my
crap.
god, it's actually true. So currently in this game, I believe that INT's favored to win the next fight because they are in like a 2k gold difference, and that's really
Yeah.
what they're gonna want.
It's surefire, 100% proven.
Mhm. I mean, new meta. I mean,
Yeah.
someone send this information over to LCS and LCK. They need to know
Mhm.
about this.
So I will point out, right? Zach
Mhm.
Engage gets chunked to like 1/4 health, and then Ziggs bomb is no longer on. Well, actually,
We're
what the
seeing a
heck?
fight in the ball lane. TP comes down in. Intensify trying to pick up the kill. Gets a flash off to try to get onto Zealot. Biostar drops the R to zone him off, and Intensify picks up the kill. Very, very well played.
They had to use a lot though. That's a TP from Ziggs, flash from Irelia.
R from Aurelia, R from Ziggs.
And do you really want to do that? You could risk toppling over the gold lead, and
Yeah.
then your opponents will be favored.
Oh no! They may have a gold advantage. That will ruin the game for them. Oh no.
Yeah, the correct play here might actually be for OTS to just give this tower. Let
Nope.
them have the gold.
Honestly, I think that it is the right call. Just like give them the gold lead, get the advantage off of that.
Yeah.
He
It's
gets the
actually
root
looking
off,
really
and Amphipod jumps in. Do they have the gold lead? Though they do. This may not be in a favor for them as a result. Amphipod does do the Amphipod special, drops a little bit. Carnage getting chunked so low. Amphipod trying to re-engage, but Carnage does end up falling off. Amphipod getting chunked lower and lower. JTR. See, they had less gold and they lost. They won the fight. It
Gold
really is
diff.
the difference. Gold diff.
Gold.
Yeah, it really is. Just to have less gold, win the game.
Man, Zealot trying so hard to give some free kills here. It's like, please. have
Please
this
get some gold. Yes, please take this gold.
Look at this.
Biosphere, yeah, they're actually doing it.
What was
See,
that
they're-
quirky
they're-
package?
They're really
Oh, man.
thinking on the next level. Yeah, Biosphere getting another double kill. Just as a reminder, at one point in this game, Biosphere was like 2-7.
Yeah.
He's just back in the game, I guess. I mean, Ziggs things.
Yeah, what
This is
the heck?
exactly why Complex recommended me to play Ziggs. No other reason.
Six
Mm.
jungle, new meta.
Mm-hmm.
This
What
is
is going
crazy.
on? This is absolutely insane.
I actually want OTS, you know, I want to test the theory. Like, I really want OTS to fall, you know, behind in gold and then see if in the final fight, like,
Mm.
that would be
It really
so
is.
weird.
Yeah, at the moment, INT does have a gold deficit, so they are favored for the next fight. See, they know that, so that's why they're pushing for Baron right now,
Oh,
because they
you're
know they'll
so
win the
right.
fight. Uh-huh.
Let them have Baron.
Let
so
them
that we
have
can win
Baron.
this fight.
Yeah, they know they're gonna win the fight because they're like, oh, they can't contest anymore. They have more gold than us.
Wait, but what happens when it's tied? Okay,
Honestly,
oof,
oh my god,
oof.
it is 60k to. Honestly, this is the AOC strat. Eat the rich. Whichever team wins just ends up winning. Whichever team is in the loss. Honestly,
Please.
I don't know what to say. Wait, they're even right now. Wait, no team can win then. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's a stalemate. They both have to surrender at the same time. Double
Mm.
explosion of the Nexus.
I guess I think what the best thing they can do at this point is, whichever team wants to win, just AFK in your base, let the other team
Oh
farm up.
my goodness, you're so right.
I don't know, man. Like it really is the strategy at this
They're
point.
trolling right now by clearing this mid wave.
Yeah, by them securing farm and pushing for pressure, they're actually just inting the game because they're getting
That's
gold.
huge. Yeah, because of that mid inhib that's
Yeah,
been
no,
down.
INT's inting now because they have higher gold. It really will be the difference. Yeah, no, I'm predicting it. OTS is winning the next fight.
Whoa, isn't OTS still ahead?
Oh, sorry, INT is winning next fight. I apologize.
Yeah. Well, see now
Oh
it's on
my
its
god!
head.
Now it's
Now
on
we have
its
to root
head.
for OTS because they're favored now. That's just the meta.
It really is just gold diff. What was the tool getting caught out a little bit here potentially? Amphipod maybe looking for an engage coming up, trying to sweep out to look for an E engage, falling back, trying to look for something. The rest of his team is back. He can't really look for something at this moment. The rest of the team are all
Yeah.
grouped up in the corridor. Dragon is spawning relatively soon. Intensify trying to secure. What is Intensify doing? Why are you trying to get gold at this point? You're gonna ruin the next fight.
Yeah,
It's
wait, what the heck?
Actually inting.
So what happens when the first team gets the first kill, right? Then what
It's
if
200 gold difference.
What the heck?
Oh my god, they're gonna lose this fight now because there's a 200 gold. It's actually about even. Who will win this fight? Mozatul ends up falling down. Zella trying to run away, gets burned down. Intensify in the backline, has the stopwatch, trying to survive. Gets the Q off, but gets one shot by the fourth. Yeah,
You're in the gold lead, watch this!
gold lead. Celibate Scroll
Gold
trying to
diff.
turn on its
They
head.
just got gold diffed.
Yeah, no, it's just it was just gold diff at the beginning of the fight. I think it was like a 200 gold difference.
Whoa! New meta though!
Only Carnage.
Carnage! He's insane! He's reinventing the meta right
Here's-
here.
here's
They
what I
won
think.
even though they were in the
I
gold
think
lead.
ODS should have intentionally entered that fight because
right.
that fight would have given them each whatever team the gold lead. Actually, no. We actually had an OTS is in the gold lead. I apologize. Yeah, so OTS in the gold lead, but it isn't going to be the crucial fight. So they should end that fight to give
Yes,
the other
you're
team
right.
the gold lead to win the later one. It really passive income, honestly.
Yeah, because obviously Carnage was trolling there. He was
Mhm.
trying to reinvent the meta, but
Mm.
you know that that's just not how meta works, right? A Korean Chinese guy has to be doing it
Yeah.
to reinvent the meta, right?
Yeah, yeah. Xiao
Can't
Xiao
be
Ai,
doing
for
it in
example.
AVG.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
just a failure. They're in
Honestly.
the gold lead. They're gonna lose.
No. 2K gold difference. You know what they have to? You know how much they're gonna have to sacrifice in order to give the other team the gold lead at this point? So much.
So much.
That may honestly just ruin the game. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It really is. What the hell is going on, man?
What an entertaining game, though.
Yeah, both teams are on soul point. Mozatul going on to Zella here. Which team has the gold lead? Oh, it is in favor of INT in this case. Yeah, it's just constantly going to be
Are
fluctuating.
you seeing a different gold lead that I'm looking at? What's going on?
INT has the gold advantage. Because they're behind in gold.
Oh,
that-
that's what you mean
that's
by
the true
gold
advantage.
advantage.
That's
Yes,
the true
gold
advantage.
dip. Okay,
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
So
it's
just
not like more gold equals stronger. That would be
Yeah,
a,
no, not at
that's a
all.
common misunderstanding. No.
That's not the meta.
No, the new meta is less gold, better plays. Honestly.
And
I
right now,
mean-
like you're saying,
hmm
I'm not trying has the gold advantage. It's gold
Mm.
diff in their court.
No. Gold lead is not gold advantage. That is a common misunderstanding.
Yeah, of course.
100%.
Viewers at home are probably just like they're taking notes right now. They're applying this to their next Korean
Mhm.
solo queue montage moments. You
Mhm.
know.
You always have to make sure that you're behind in gold. That's really where it matters.
Yeah. So both teams are actively not doing anything.
to,
I actually
to
think
try to let
Yoshi's trolling.
I think that's actually kind of smart. I agree. Don't take. Why is he taking? That's another 30 gold. Why would you do that? At this point, I don't know, man. Biostar taking blue buff. Almost resetting because he missed the Q on the
Yeah,
blue.
they should not be getting these camps. I don't know why they want to lose so badly.
Honestly, Carnage securing Grid. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think they're assuming the other team is doing more, so they're
Oh,
thinking
you're
like
so
maybe
right.
we can. Yeah, but it's not what you want to do right now. You want to play it safe. You want to make sure the other team's farming up more than you are. Mm. Yeah, this is some peak level commentary from some from a Plat 3 and D4 player. Yes.
I mean, we just know what's important.
Yeah. We understand macro. Macro
Yeah.
diff, gold diff, 100%.
I can't even be real with you because I don't know what I'm looking at. As wow, Zelot.
Delon gets the flash in. Does he have the gold? How does he win that fight when he's ahead in gold?
Well, here's
It
the
makes
thing.
no
see,
sense.
They're still favored, right?
Mm.
I am not trying is going to win the 4v5 because
Because
you know
the
they
gold.
allowed they sacrificed bio, right?
Oh, he died to just to flex how hard the gold diff really means
Yes,
to them.
of course.
Yes. They're sacrificing by trying to diminish the gap. Honestly.
Yeah.
Carnage trying to secure some kills here. Intensify going for inhibitor. Very
Yeah.
smart play. Because once you get those mega minion waves pushing in, then the other team can get the gold advantage off of it. Very smart. Yoshishi popping it off of them. Zella and him on top of it. Intensify does end up falling down as a result. Very smart play from Intensify. The gold advantage from the TP coming in. Trying to. That is Baron Nashor in favor of OTS.
Exactly, because that's what I'm not trying once. They want them to have an even greater gold lead so that they can have. Because that's the thing, right?
Yeah,
If you
this is very smart from both teams. Because think of it, right? So, INT Intensify took the inhibitor, right? So waves would naturally be pushing into them.
yes.
However, in response, OTS took Baron, so they wouldn't let waves push into them because of the Baron buff. So essentially, there's like, you want your waves to push in, so we can get a gold lead? No. I will take it Baron, so the gold lead push against us, so we do not get the gold advantage. So smart from both teams, honestly. The wave managed.
Absolutely.
What just bio popping JT Ripper, Zonya's-ing it. Will he be able to survive? But only Carnage just one shots him out of the game. Wow.
So here's the thing, though, right? Because they're at the gold advantage, I'm not trying can win a fight and still be at such a disadvantage that they can actually win the game. That is the meta, right? Because if OTS was to win, it's impossible. They're just not following the meta. They literally can't win a fight because of the gold diff.
That
So,
is soul point, by the way. They just take soul.
Well,
kind of big. But
yeah.
but the gold is more important, admittedly.
doesn't matter.
And yeah, because
Like,
they're already
it-
behind because they have an AK gold lead. That's
Yeah,
what
of
really
course.
matters.
And-
So they're
and
already
not
behind, yeah.
that, but they're just getting funneled gold super minion after super minion. Intensify knew exactly what he was doing.
Smart
It's
plays.
like, this is what you get from the captain of a team. Insane knowledge. His macros insane. Saying, give Baron, we're getting this inhib. I absolutely love this play. From I'm not trying. They're even letting them have gold from these turrets. The lead is insane, which just means one thing. A one-team fight, and that is what it comes down to. Everyone knows gold is not important. Winning team fights and getting kills, that's the main goal. Like Nexus, get
100%.
50 gold. That's just trolling. Like, you need to do your Nexus.
Don't take Nexus.
Or
That's
you
too
can
much
win.
gold. If Nexus is up, just don't take it. You're throwing away the gold advantage. How are you gonna win the game then? That's just something that you can't risk, honestly.
I mean,
Honestly, whichever team takes Nexus first is kind of inting.
and true.
True, true. We are seeing a little bit of a siege here from the side of OTS trying to make usage out of the Baron buff. Amphipod getting the Q off, but it doesn't necessarily amount to anything as he gets stunned down by Go-Go Fate. Ziggs are coming off, however, his dodge. Oh my god, the Q damage from Z-Log taking it down at half HP as they just shred it in. The meta is being turned on its head right now. Loza 2 about to fall down. Amphipod trying to jump in, but falls down. Biostar 1 HP. The last Bastion is about to fall down, but Zealot, and I believe that will end up being game 2 for OTS. GG's for both teams. I don't know how, but with the power of friendship and, as Dom Toretto says, family, they're able to push past that gold advantage meta that was established throughout the game, just surpassing all with the power of love, family, and friends. GG's.
So this 41-minute game went so long that the meta was indeed reinvented. And I would have to say,
The new patch came in.
Yeah, Carnage actually rode this patch to victory.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane what he was able to do. I cannot believe that he was able to reinvent the meta off of this new patch, because everyone, after sitting for 2 minutes saying like, hey, how much gold do you want to get? It was getting too boring. So people were like, okay, instead of just giving people gold, let's invent a new meta where we just kill people and end the game. And I think that overall this is a superior meta, because it allows you to actually play the game how it was meant to be played. And that's just superior.
I do have to say, drafting wise, I feel like it was a little troll that they did not take Ziggs into the jungle. I feel like that may have been yeah, no, 100%. But yeah, honestly, the Carnage only Carnage is playing so well in these fights and just nuking people. Just, I don't know, very well played. Just reinventing the meta. Honestly, Carnage just maybe he's a patch notes like worker for Riot. Maybe that's why he's just reinventing the meta as the game goes along. Secret patch notes. Okay, so very well played from both teams. Are we doing an interview or no? No, okay, no interview for today. So yeah, well played for both teams. Very well fought out. Some really interesting team fights. Thank you all for coming today to see the first 2 games of the finals of OTS versus I'm Not Trying. Both games going over to OTS. Very well played and fought out by both teams. Thank you all for coming and watching, and
Supporting
Okay.
AVG,
so thank you for supporting AVG. Thank you all.
of course.